A boy vanishes in a town. Lights flicker and a monster breathes just off screen. Stranger Things leaves us in the dark after that. When season 1 ended on its cliffhanger, Netflix actually reported a 240% spike in binge completion rates. People were just unable to stop. And in India, when Baahubali ended with this, Google searches were trending with only one question, and this exploded across the country. The sequel became the highest grossing Indian film of its time, and it was powered largely by one single withheld answer. Even Breaking Bad, one of the most critically acclaimed shows ever made, built its cultural grip through unanswered moments. AMC reported that seasons with the biggest cliffhangers experienced the largest audience growth in the following year. These are not coincidences, these are patterns. Across genres, across countries, and across eras, one thing keeps happening. And when that keeps happening again, we start calling it patterns. And whenever a story stops right before the moment your brain expects resolution, you don't just want answers, you experience a biological need for this. So the real question is, why does your brain treat it like an unfinished story? And why does your brain treat an unfinished story like a threat? Take Breaking Bad. Almost every episode ends right in the middle of something. There's a knock at the door, maybe a half-finished sentence, or a decision you're actually not allowed to see. And then cut to black. That little gap between action and consequence is not a mistake. That's what we call bait. Even Sherlock does this brilliantly. You're on the rooftop with Sherlock and Moriarty. There's a standoff, there's a gun, and there's a choice that will change everything. And instead of answers that will change pop culture, the credits roll. It's like the war and we are in the losing side. The Zeigarnik Effect. The brain's addiction to closure. This effect is actually named after psychologist Bluma Zeigarnik, who noticed something odd. Waiters had no problem remembering every single order at the table until the bill was paid. Once the task was complete, the details vanished. The unfinished ones, they stuck in the mind like glue. She realized something quite powerful about this. When something is left incomplete, the brain refuses to let it go. It keeps the loop open, replaying it in the background, because closure isn't just nice to have. Your brain is wired to chase it. So when a story ends cleanly, your mind actually exhales. But when it ends abruptly, right at the peak, your brain clings to the moment. Two brain chemicals step into the spotlight when a cliffhanger happens. First is cortisol. This is your brain's pay attention hormone. It shows up when something feels uncertain or unresolved. A cliffhanger nudges your cortisol just enough to make your senses sharpen. And then comes that hit of dopamine. Not the pleasure molecule dopamine that we know, the anticipation molecule dopamine. This dopamine that fires when you expect a reward, but when you don't get it, you just expect it. And suddenly, together cortisol and dopamine are in your brain at the same time, and they create this strange internal cocktail. You're stressed, but excited. You're uncomfortable, but craving closure. And this is why just one more episode is basically a lie we tell ourselves. So how do writers actually use all this? The best storytellers don't just add drama. They understand exactly where your attention sits and how to pull it tight without snapping it. There are 3 techniques almost every cliffhanger uses, whether it's Breaking Bad, Stranger Things, Sacred Games, or even one of your favorite YouTube series. The delayed answer. They open a loop and refuse to close it. Writers ask a question early on. It's either a murder, a betrayal, a mystery, or a hidden identity, and then stretch the answer across time. It's either starting with who killed Laura Palmer, what's inside the hatch, why did Kattappa kill Baahubali. You get tiny clues, small payoffs, just enough to stay invested, but the central question, they don't exactly answer it. They hold it just out of reach until the third act comes to play. Your brain doesn't experience this as entertainment, it experiences it as an unfinished task. And unfinished tasks demand completion. Number 2, the interrupted pattern. Writers stop a moment right when your brain predicts the next beat. A kiss inches closer between 2 lovers and someone walks in. A confession starts and the lights go out. A character opens their mouth to reveal the truth and we cut to black. Your brain is this prediction machine. It constantly tries to guess what comes next. And when a writer actually interrupts that pattern at the exact second your brain expects that resolution, your entire cognitive system jolts. It's alert, it's agitated, it's annoyed. It wants that missing beat. And this is why cliffhangers actually feel more physical than any other story beat ever. It's like holding a breath you didn't exactly mean to hold. Number 3, the time bomb. They let you know something that the characters probably don't. Hitchcock used to call this the bomb under the table. Imagine 2 characters having a calm conversation. Nothing seems wrong, but you, as the audience, know that there is a timer ticking beneath them. Now every second feels important. Every second stretches, every gesture feels important. Your brain isn't watching, it's bracing for that bomb to explode. Cliffhangers often end right when the bomb ticks from 2 to 1, not when it exactly explodes, but right before. Because the most powerful moment is not the event that actually creates it, it's the anticipation of that event. And writers understand this very, very deep. They know suspense isn't about what happens next, it's about what almost happens but doesn't. And when you combine all these three techniques, the delayed answer, the interrupted pattern, and the ticking time bomb, you get a story your brain refuses to put down. It's only because your neurochemistry is caught in this loop. And that was designed with peak precision. But cliffhangers aren't just a TV thing. Think of all of the true crime podcasts that exist on the planet right now. Every single one of those episodes ends with a tiny breadcrumb. There's probably a witness you haven't heard of yet, a question the evidence does not answer, or some random phone call that feels important but goes nowhere, at least yet. And you don't get closure out of any of this. You only get tension. Even the news uses this. Everywhere you go, anywhere you see, headlines like "new CCTV footage raises more questions." Took me a while to realize that they actually don't give you information. They give you a reason to click. So here's the real thing about cliffhangers. They don't just work because they're dramatic. They work because they mirror the way we actually live. Life rarely gives us clean ending. Conversations get cut off, opportunities pause, relationships stop mid-sentence, and our brains hold on to all of it. The same way they hold on to a story that refuses to finish. That tension you feel when a show cuts to black without knowing the answers that you've always wanted to know, that's the same tension that pushes you to seek answers in your own life. It's the same discomfort that drives curiosity, ambition, problem solving, meaning making. Because attention isn't captured by answers, it's captured by the space before the answer. And that space where the brain leans in, that space is called